happy, following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the cup, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point of goal.
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome to the Tough Talk Show, sponsored by Boylesports. It is Monday night, 6:30 through to 8. We have Claire, Mr. Fixer, Mr. Adams, Mr. Watton, Mr. Browne and myself. It's nice to sit in the team tonight. Alan's got a little bit of a week, ladies and gents, so if you just spray us to the toilet 3 or 4 times, please, just don't worry. And Craig Courtney has openly confessed prior to the show that his Laura occasionally moves at home. Claire thinks she's drinking cups of tea. We think we know different. And Mark Adams has been asked to turn the lighting down because it's shining off his head, somewhat resembling a good friend of the show, Mr. Sheen. Chris Browne, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, that's enough from you. Greetings, Alan Watton, chairman of the board.
Greetings, and have you know I have the finest bladder in Sussex.
Just Sussex.
That's got me back, isn't it?
Okay.
One, Alan, 1-1.
Just Sussex.
Mark Adams, greetings, mate. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Hope everyone's okay.
You've got the robe on in this cold weather.
Yeah, it's freezing. It's freezing today.
Freezing.
Craig Courtney.
Here she is.
Good evening, all. Good evening.
Evening.
And the one and only Claire, gin drinker, Giblin.
Hello.
Hang on. I've got the wrong camera on.
What a strange week it's been in football this week. Here we go. Liverpool battered Man United 7-0 yesterday.
No one cares. No one cares.
Made me laugh, ladies and gentlemen. I laughed my socks off yesterday when I was hearing those scores coming in. I was really praying for 8-1 to go in because then that would have beaten the record, the all-time record. Just taking off the shoes, won't be a moment there. On a serious note, violence erupts after a football game and a football fan dies. Now, what is going on? Come on. Was it Blackpool and Burnley, I believe, was it?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't know these stories.
I've got to say, I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know the stories.
A guy went to the football, there was violence, whether it was before or after the game. I haven't had time to bone upon it, I promise you, right? But I've seen the headlines in the news that come up on my computer screen about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, that a football fan has died going to a football game.
Right, okay.
That is just beyond belief. Beyond belief. Whether he was involved, whether he wasn't involved, I don't know, right? Because I don't know. But a football fan gets up in the morning, goes to watch his team, and doesn't come home. That ain't good. It obviously isn't good. We've had a young footballer die on the pitch this week. We've had Birmingham City. Well, crikey. What are we potentially being charged by the EFL? Half the ground shut. We don't know who the owners are. Oh, the training ground burns down.
God,
my goodness me. That's the only time this year we've been on fire, ladies and gents. On fire.
Amazing.
And a draw against Wigan. Who was there?
There's 3 of us then. Me, Claire, and
Did
Craig.
you meet up? Did you guys meet up?
Yeah.
We did. Tilton
did.
took over, not only took over the away stands, but we took over the car parking and everything. We launched our own scheme for car parking.
Yeah. And the marquee we took over.
Yeah, the marquee as well. We took
Okay.
over the pub. We did everything.
We did a meet and greet and everything.
Oh, I'm absolutely overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
We kept on asking Claire for autographs, but me and Mark, I didn't know where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were bringing her checkbook in.
Who are you?
Okay, so I'm going to take Claire's view on the game first.
We started off okay. We scored an early goal. Great goal. It was nice the fact that they ran to Eustace. I thought that was a good touch. However, second half, they were still in the dressing room. I mean, if you're happy to take a point from Wigan, we are in serious trouble. I'm a bit confused about some of his subs. Bit confused about why we didn't go for it. We seemed happy to be getting a point. There was no urgency. What summed it up was Bakuna at the end went to try and get the ball and he just held his hands up like, what? Yeah. And then he brought Roberts on, which was very confusing. I thought Graham was brilliant, probably the best game he's had. Hogan was a passenger the whole time. I think his confidence is very low, and
Shocking.
I would drop him for Saturday, personally. I just think there were some really good points from there, and some of the attacking play was good, but yeah, it's just typical Blues. Typical.
Do you think it was that we were happy to get a draw rather than to try and go for it and then lose again?
Yeah, I think he was happy with the draw, but if you're playing against Wigan, who are bottom of the league, who have a minus 26 goal difference, who we made them look better again than they were, you can't be happy with the draw. Like, Saturday is a must-win game, or else we are dragged right into it, because with QPR, Watford coming up and people like that, I can't see us getting anything.
Okay, thanks for that, man. Craig, can you give us your take on the marquee?
The marquee was wicked. I mean, the fact that we walked into a pub that's underneath the stand, that when we got there, just greeted us with empty tables and straight to the bar. That just sums it up beautifully. I will say, huge thank you to everybody that was with us as well, because we had the Excessive Blues guys join us after.
Superb,
That we turned up. But what was nice was Liv's first game away from home, Lana's first game as well, and everybody was made to feel welcome. And not just that, big shout out and huge thank you to Lindsay's mum, who was just, she was a star at the end. Bless her. Lana didn't think about how cold it was. Turned up with a fleecy top and top.
Craig, sorry.
She's 13.
13, yeah, cool.
And she turned up without a fleecy top or anything like that. And bless her, Lindsay's mum, straight over. Do you want to borrow them off top? Do you want them to have this? Keep it warm. And she, absolutely wicked. So it just shows how everybody came together. But all in all, lovely. Great to meet up with people and have a laugh and a joke. And not just that, I'll echo everything Claire said really about the game. In the first half, when we went forward, Jesus, it was scary at times. We were unplayable at times going forwards. We were absolutely superb. But the second half, you'd have sworn they'd just swapped shirts, because the way Wigan came at us, it's probably fair to say, based on their second half, they probably deserved a little bit more than a draw, which is scary, really, to come out with that sort of comment. But we definitely, second half, we had opportunities. We missed, sitters. We hit a post twice in the space of about 60 seconds, which...
Three times,
that's it, yeah.
including the penalty.
And the penalty for me summed it up, which was he wanted to leather the ball. He just wanted to break the net, and unfortunately, by doing what he did, he missed it. So, and after that, yes, got to question some of the subs. I think the last 5 minutes, the Bakuna point, yes. We had a ball go out, it was our ball, he ran for the ball, then left the ball and walked back out. And it was like, what are you doing? We can win this game. But there wasn't that sense of urgency at that point in time. Fans, brilliant as always. And I also credit to Wigan as well. They really looked after us there.
Sorry, Craig. I just want to just interject. People are asking about the statement, which we'll get to in a bit. Yeah, Craig.
Give a little bit of background to it as well. So, okay. But back to the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't lose, but we have got to build on that. We have to. We cannot go into Saturday's game playing like we did at Wigan, because they will. I'd say they will beat us, and it will drag us into it. We've been lucky. Yeah. We're still 7 points adrift of everything that's going on down there, but only takes, look at the results the weekend. Who'd have thought that Stoke would put 5 past Sunderland? So the league is still open. Anybody can beat each other. Yeah. Mark, you were there as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I thought, like I said, the early goal, I thought the confidence had come, draining into him, but it's the complete opposite. If anything, we went into our shell a bit. And they say the urgency at the end, it was like, you'd think it was a testimonial or a friendly, because there was zero urgency. It was just, Wigan were there for the taking. We dominated the first half an hour, and we just didn't capitalise. And in the end, we were just holding on for a draw, which, like Claire said, if that's your mentality at this stage of the season, you're in a lot of trouble. I'm a bit surprised by, I'm hands up on, I like Eustace, I'm a big fan of John Eustace, but his comments afterwards when he said we were excellent with and without the ball,
I thought that was.
I don't go along with that for a minute. No. I don't think we're excellent with or without the ball. No. We're probably excellent with or without the points.
He also praised Hogan, which was
I don't get it. I completely disagree. I know we're not on the training field with them, but on that performance, no, I don't agree with any of what he said afterwards. Hogan was...
He is a workhorse, and that's one thing that I would give him. I don't think he's going to be a prolific goal scorer.
Yeah, we like a try.
He'll never get back to the days that he was with Brentford. But he did a lot of work off the ball, and that I'll give him credit for. But every time he got it in what you'd class as a dangerous position, I didn't have any sort of inkling that he was going to go on to score. Eustace's comments were a little bit strange.
They were odd.
I will say, Alan, I totally echo your comments in the Wattos live, because to hear 70% possession and everybody's going, 70%. That 70% was sat in their half.
Yeah.
So you can have 99. You can have 99% possession. They get the ball. They score. That's the difference. Is not possession. That's why I hate statistics.
That was their possession. We only had 29%, didn't we?
We had 29% of the possession overall. Yeah. But the thing that I would say is, if they had 71, they didn't show attacking prowess with that 71. No. They did an awful lot of, we're going to pass the ball across our own face of the
They wanted a draw. They wanted a draw, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, coming out the ground, listening to their fans. That was the World Cup for them. That was. They've just gone and won a cup. Yeah.
Mm. I think just to defend from what I saw sitting in my bedroom here, I can't disagree with anything you said. I would defend the fact that they decided, we've got a point here, we're not going to give that away, because if you've lost, it is a 6-pointer, that they suddenly become four points away from us instead of 7. And if it had been anybody else but Wigan, then we might have gone on, knowing that losing wouldn't have been the worst thing. But to lose to Wigan would have been an epic tragedy. So I would defend them a little bit for that. But I listened to their commentators, and you would have thought that it was, just one-way traffic. And I sat here, and I was surprised when we conceded the goal. I thought, well, this lot never going to score against us. But I was also thinking, we've still got 2 old men up front, and we scored a wonder goal. Are we going to get another one? Well, we should have got 3 more, but we didn't. And, there's a point in the game where you think, take what you've got. We've had our chances, we've missed them. Whatever you do, don't go silly and give a goal away. So I wasn't surprised when Roberts came on. I will say one thing though. When the game kicked off, I got the impression that we actually was only playing 4 at the back, and Graham was sort of way up on the left wing. But then we scored after 3 minutes, so that definitely became a back 5 after that. Now, had we gone another half hour before we scored, it'd been interesting to see whether we'd have played that. It was just an impression I got. When they kicked off, Graham was up on the left wing, and I thought, we're actually playing 4 at the back here. I'm playing him as a proper winger. But as soon as we scored, everything went back again. So we don't score. From day one, we don't score enough goals. We can all talk about the reasons for that, but we got to, very often we got to score 2 goals to get a draw, and if we get in front, we can't afford to go gung ho, which makes the football drab. Especially poor Claire there. She obviously was freezing herself to death while I'm sitting there, and it didn't seem a bad game to me. I quite enjoyed it. I thought our tactics were
strange.
They were the right thing to do. Yes, it'd been lovely to wipe them up. When you think back, we lost a fortnight ago to Huddersfield after taking the lead, and Huddersfield has conceded 9 goals since then. We scored once. You know, 2 matches, 4-0 and 5-0 with the mighty new manager. We get the new manager on the day he arrives, and then 2 weeks later, they're all over the shop again. You know.
Alan, what about Claire's analysis of that game in the second half was dire, like we were still in the dressing room? You said from your point of view, and I get and I understand, when you're looking at a football game on TV, it's very, very different from when you're looking at it live, right? Very different because you get angles and this, that, and you go da-da-da-da-da-da. But Claire kind of summed it up and said, like, yeah, okay, first half, yeah, we were pretty good, but we just didn't turn up in the second half.
Well, we didn't. We until they scored, we just sat there and let them. It was like rope-a-dope. You know, you can keep coming at us as much as you like, and you ain't going to score. But then they did, and then it swung back a bit. Not immediately, but you know, in the period when we hit the woodwork 3 times, you know, you're thinking we were battering them then, and then we took. You know, this is what we've got. We'll take it. We're not going to lose this game. And, yeah, it did become a little dull. But as a supporter of Birmingham City, I'm quite happy sitting there looking and thinking, this lot never scored.
You know, no, I get that, Alan. Right, I do, I probably shall. And it was no criticism on what you were saying at all, none whatsoever. And I know that the game looks very, very different on TV to when it does when you sat there live, yeah? Now, Rotherham the weekend.
What a massive game.
Yeah, 9 points.
Must win.
It should Rotherham. Mark, but why should Birmingham City versus Rotherham be a massive? Which we are talking Rotherham, yeah.
Yeah, they beat QPR, who haven't won as often as us. Now we play those 2 in the next fortnight.
I know, mate. I know. Yeah.
And that doesn't make any difference.
Alan, that could be make or break. I promise you.
Well, what I was going to say was we would probably beat Rotherham, and then we think, oh well, QPR will be a walk and lose to them, or vice versa. You know, it's not you can't look at these things and say, oh, if this happens, then that'll happen. They just can't do it. You know, QPR could come up with a blinding result next week, as Rotherham did.
I fear QPR more than Rotherham.
And Stoke. I mean, where did that come from?
For months, and I've been talking to Stoke fans downstairs here, and they're saying, like, I have never seen football so bad as this in all my life. And then they're going to win 5-1.
Yeah. That's the Football League for you at the moment, though, Nick.
It is.
I've never seen the league as open as what it is. But, I mean, you know, going back to the game, and at the end, right, so there's one thing that stood out for me, right, at the very, very end, is final whistle went, and for the first time in a fair few weeks, I saw the disappointment on the players' faces. And it's not very often that it really, you know, comes across that they are frustrated and they are disappointed with what happened. But Harley Dean, all credit to him, walked across on his own and applauded the fans, stood there, and you could see it in his face.
Right.
And the other players joined, and they did it as well. And that, to me, shows heart. And
sorry, you said Harley Dean. Did all the players come over?
They did in the end.
Eventually.
No. They shouldn't do it in the end. They should do it at the end. Every single game, come over and appreciate the people that are paying their wages.
Yeah, I think they all came over.
The fans. Yeah. But I think the thing was, it was how I mean, I was there and I could sense the frustration in the players. And that, to me, some people will take that as a huge negative. You should never show your emotions. But actually, I think that is a positive. That to me, we could have done better. And we don't know.
I am an advocate for emotion, I promise you. Right? When my son swam his first length of the swimming pool, I stood there crying my eyes out because he achieved something. Okay. And I was willing him on, and this guy looks at me, he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "That's my son."
I think that's the difference, really, is that if one of us were playing for Birmingham City, if we were lean and mean, like me and Craig, right?
Exactly like us, Chris.
How emotional we would be at a game. But these players are not me and thee. These are people
No, they're
who are
not
being
Birmingham
paid.
City supporters.
Of course they're not.
And
No,
if it was you and me, Chris, at the end of the game and we just got beaten, we would be sitting in that centre circle sobbing.
Yeah.
But this is why, though, I think Ruddy shouldn't be captain.
I agree.
Because to me, a lot was proven on Saturday with when we went 1-1. Like Jukovic, you could see him.
Mm.
I don't know why it's being taken off Jukovic. I don't understand. I know that he wasn't playing every game, but to me, having the goalkeeper as captain doesn't influence it as much.
No.
Like to me, like he was just jogging to get the ball, and to me, he sprinted over, grabbed that ball, put it down, kicking it. Right, let's go, lads, let's go.
Right, Claire, this is something that I've not understood for donkey's years. What does the captain do? What does the captain do?
Lead by example. So if you want, you want to, you've got to show the way. So if you are upbeat for the game,
if we had 30 odd players to choose from, then yes, but we don't. We have a paper thin squad, and I just and again to go back to the emotion that you could see from Harley Dean is what a captain I would expect from a captain. And I agree. I think, firstly, Ruddy, I've got nothing against him. I think he is a fantastic player.
He's not vocal enough.
He's not captain. He's just not. No. You've got to have somebody that's in the centre circle that when something goes wrong or somebody needs to have a rollicking, they grab them by the scruff of the neck and they tell them as it is. Right?
Okay, Craig. So we're saying then, right, and think about this really deeply, right? Eustace has got it wrong by putting.
I don't know.
Hang on,
I think it should change.
Captain, right? And everybody here is saying that in no way should he be cut. So everybody's saying that the Gaffer got it wrong.
Well, I think that if we could spin it a little bit, though, it's looking at pre-Christmas. Nobody complained, but the difference was the confidence was there with the players. Mm-hmm. Now the confidence is low, so you need a motivator on the field, somebody that's in their ear all the time. And when I look at our first half and the amount of time that we spent in the opposition's half of the field, right, the goalkeeper cannot be heard. It's impossible. You need an outfield player, somebody that's going to tell them as it is. Now, whilst they're not captains, what I would say is the players should be listening to the likes of Jukovic, Dean, and no player, in fact, on the field should be scared of telling another one, get your arse into gear. That was your ball. You should have done this. And, we talk about the blue blood and everything else. Alfie Chang was superb.
Yeah, agreed.
Superb on Saturday.
Sorry, I missed it. Who?
Alfie Chang.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Superb. Absolutely brilliant. And I think he deserves his spot and needs to stay in the team. But what I would say is...
How old is he, Craig?
He's only, 18, 19, I think. Alfie Chang.
19, I think. Right.
But when I read some of the comments as I did coming back, and people say they didn't push for the shirt, they weren't sweating blood, they weren't fighting for the shirt. That's wrong. They do care. I'm also seeing a lot of things on the shoutbox, and I just want to shout out a few of these because there's a great comment from Paul where he said, when our own fans stand up and start chanting, how was maybe we're winning away? We're 1-0 up, we've scored a screamer, and you hear that from your own fans. It's not a confidence builder.
I was actually singing that song on and then I stopped and I thought, what an awful song to sing.
Yeah.
What an awful song to sing.
Morale wise, it's not a confidence booster.
No,
I genuinely, Chris, I was at work and I was like that, and I was only singing it in my head, right? Because I've got customers running away. Oh shit, we're winning away, and I thought that is probably the worst song you could ever sing to your own group of players.
Yeah. The other thing was there was booing. There was booing from our own fans at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right. You don't boo your team.
A week ago. We were on this program. We were all talking about the stuff that Eustace says about the group are all together and they're all pulling for each other. And there were signs last Saturday that perhaps they weren't. And Saturday, for what, putting aside the performance, we can all, that had gone. We were back to pull it. I mean, when we scored, everybody piled up the halfway line. And I noticed Hannibal, who must have been pissed off for being left out, was as part of that as he could be. And I thought, well, that speaks volumes for him and the rest of the group.
He's brilliant at that, though, isn't he?
He needs to play.
Up, he's always doing this.
He does. He does. But you say, they all look disappointed and blah blah blah. The together. I mean, even sitting here, the togetherness and the effort was there for all to see. It might have been in the wrong part of the pitch. We spent too much time defending, but we defended like it mattered. And when we did attack, Bakuna summed it up for me. I ain't his biggest fan because he's so inconsistent, but I couldn't fault him on Saturday. And again, he'd something to prove. He was up and down that pitch like a maniac. He scored a wonderful goal. He got us the penalty. Yeah. He defended. He did the lot. Now, you don't get people doing that if they're not, I'm here for this. And that impressed me more than anything. That's why I warmed to the game, if you like, even though it was,
I get that. Yeah, I get that. I do get it. Right.
I like to see that.
Mark, talk us through that penalty.
Well, from where we were, we didn't realise it was a penalty at first.
Was it the opposite side of the stadium?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a bit of a way away. But it was a penalty. Looking at the replay when we got back afterwards. But like I say, Hogan's missed the last few. So
why let him take them?
Jukovic should have taken it.
Juki should have took it.
Juki's not record isn't the best, is he?
But Hogan's
is injured as well. That's the one thing that I would also.
Or even Matt,
I think he was injured.
Or even Colin. But
and that free kick, everybody. Whoa, we've seen some screamers the last few games, haven't we?
We have, to be fair. We have. But I know
that was well clear.
Can I just say as well? I know we were going on Hogan's back a little bit, and he was appalling. But I think equally appalling was Chong.
Yeah,
he did have a poor game.
He was
because I like him as a player. He's got that. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have his hair back as it was, because I could recognise him easier.
No, he had it back. He had it back on
He's
Saturday.
not strong enough.
Did he?
He's
lightweight. He's lightweight. He's made out of paper.
Is it
for all his inadequacies, Chong? He never stopped trying. He ran and ran. I remember one. He ran from the edge of his own, the opposition's penalty area, chased somebody all the way to the back of 2 hours and got a tackle in. And you're right, he couldn't pass water on Saturday, but he never stopped having a go. And again, I would say that's a sign of the togetherness, if you like, that Eustace talks about, which was we needed that. Well, we're going to need that every single game. Every single game.
Is it too much to ask for our players to be consistent every week? And I mean that in a sense as is it possible? Is it possible for our players to play consistently good every week?
Well, it should be, because it's the same team. Like, it's the same group of players. It's not like it's wholesale changes. The one thing that worries me is the subs he makes. 15 minutes Hannibal and Kadra were stood there waiting to come on. 15 minutes. Kadra kept having to warm up because he was taking so long to change them. 15 minutes are counted. And I was like, if you're going to make sub, you've got to just make it. He seems to wait a bit too long for me. Yeah. Like, he was screaming out for Hannibal. He was screaming out that Hogan needed to go off because his confidence just went. And he waited to bring him on.
Do you think, right, if, and it's never happened, it will probably never happen, the club has never embraced us, so we never get the opportunity to challenge players, to challenge the current manager, to challenge people and speak to them. And we have done thousands of interviews on this show, right? And we speak to everybody fair at the person level. Nobody has ever come onto this show in all of those years thinking that I'm better than you. Nobody, not even Robbie Savage, right? Nobody. No, we should be able to question our players on a forum like this.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
Where we could come in on a Monday night. Come on, guys, what the happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Claire the week before spoke with Djokovic, albeit very briefly.
I'm on about a forum like this, though, Craig. I'm on about.
Yeah, but no, but Hogan wouldn't do one. So Hogan's already said he would never do an interview. I spoke to Jukovic and I went, "What's going on?" And then he said, "We are trying." So I said, "You need to try a bit harder."
That's
and then he kind of was
fine,
like,
Claire.
and then we walked down and I was like, "We really need some results." And he went, "We know." So they do know. I just think you can't. The thing is as Chris was saying, do we expect consistency? Yes, we do, because they are playing in a Birmingham City shirt. They are getting paid to do their job, and we need them to be consistent. And that's the problem. Like, we are where we are because we are so inconsistent.
I don't want to put anybody down on this show, not ever. No player, no manager, no ex-player, nobody. Right, that is not my agenda. But for Birmingham City Football Club to ignore this show for 12 years is shameful.
Nick, the one thing I'll say, they don't ignore us.
They don't know they're watching.
Right, you're right. Well, Craig, I'm talking about like getting people in. Let's talk this out. Let's have a question. Let's have an answer.
Contracts dictate
they can't do it.
Who players can and cannot speak to.
That's right.
Contracts dictate it. So at the end of the day, we could ask as much as we like. But if a player's contract has it written in there that the only people they speak to are the Associated Press or the club's communication channels, that's all you're going to get. And we have tried desperatly, and we've all asked players.
They're not going to speak to a fans group.
Their hands are tied. And if I'm completely honest, if I was a player at the club at this present moment, anyhow, would I want to come on to a fans forum?
I'd be cacking myself.
Yeah, did you know why you want to come on to a fans forum? Because I'll take you back, right, to the week that we interviewed Robbie Savage, right? And everybody was going to rip him a new bum, right? Everybody. And when he made his first opening statement, the vast majority of people changed their opinion.
Yeah, but Nick, he had nothing whatsoever to lose. He's not a Birmingham City player. He was, but he's
Do you know what, Chris? He actually did. He had a lot of dignity to lose for a start, a lot of personal dignity.
He lost it. He'd already lost it.
Yeah, Robbie's
when that man comes on and apologises, and he's a bigger. You're a big man if you apologise. You're a big man if you apologise.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I agree.
And I don't take that away from him. But what I would say is, what if the players, right? Let's just say for tomorrow, Djokovic or Hogan or anybody from the club came onto the show. What would we expect them to
Okay, for the next 2.5 minutes, you're Lucas Djokovic.
Yeah.
Okay. Lucas, blimey, we won the weekend, mate. What happened?
I tried. I was injured.
But Claire said to me last week that you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah, but
it's all opinion.
I think you're on dodgy ground there saying that about Djokovic, because I watched him in the 90th minute running back.
I love Duke.
Running back, and he could hardly pick his feet up. You know, the bloke had given everything he could.
Alan, I promise I love Duke. I picked a name out of the hat, and it doesn't really matter. What I was saying is, I just think that Birmingham City Football Club should interact with us just somewhat a little bit more after 12 years of doing this.
No. Well, we had a letter, so they're interacting, aren't they, Craig?
Good segue. Good segue.
Nice little segue. So
she's getting good at this. Scary.
I know. She's taking over. Chris, what's your job, mate? So let's revert back a few weeks now, and the open letter, of which Tilton Talk and various other fan groups came together to form with the Blues Trust. And that open letter was handed over to the club at the beginning of February. Today, there has been an announcement
Perhaps,
from the
Craig,
club.
can you just legally define what an open letter is?
So the open letter was us all coming together to express dissatisfaction around various points, where we were then asking the club to return with a response and to listen to us. And basically the ask at the time was, let us have a voice. Let's get things moving. So for those that haven't seen the statement, and what I'm actually going to do is I have a copy of the letter that was returned from Birmingham City to the Blues Trust, and I'll read it out word for word. Very much will be the same as the statements. So it's issued to all supporters. Dear supporters, in response to the open letter received on behalf of a number of Birmingham City supporters groups, the following communication has been issued by the chairman, Weng Xiao. Starts off with, I would first like to acknowledge the receipt and issue thanks to the letter that was delivered to St Andrews on Wednesday, the 8th of February. The strength of the feeling on this was not lost on me, and I fully appreciate supporters' frustrations. I will now respond to several points the best that I can. In principle, the first point, I support the proposal of a fan advisory committee, the concept of which was the cornerstone of Tracy Crouch's fan-led review and is the resultant football governance white paper, which was released on Thursday, the 23rd of February. In relation to this, internal conversations will now get underway. This process will involve the assessment of such structures across the footballing landscape. This will help us to identify successful versions. The club then intends to continue the dialogue with supporters groups to determine a proposal all parties will be happy with. The letter also requested an exit strategy and associated timeframes. For legal reasons, I am restricting what I can share in relation to the future plans of the parent company. However, as this is in an open forum, it was confirmed that a shareholder and a third party have initiated talks over a proposed investment deal for both St Andrews Stadium and the initial 21.64% shareholding in the club. The club has been supporting the parties throughout, and the due diligence process will continue to provide work, and updates will come to supporters when permitted. It would, however, be wrong at this time and place to put any timeframes behind the process today. In accordance with the club statement released on Monday, the 20th of February, I acknowledge the receipt of the charges from the EFL. And whilst further comment cannot be made on this at this time, I can confirm that no club officials have been charged in relation to this matter. Next point, whilst it does not appear in the letter, I feel that it is important to address the ongoing repair work at the stadium, and in doing so, recognise the need for improved communication regarding this and all other matters.
Was that nice?
As you will be aware, the precast concrete in the lower COP and lower Tilton was removed during the during FIFA World Cup, and subsequently covered the area for matches resuming. This was an important stage in the process for reopening the stands. As it is a concern, it is at this point a concern to me that speculation suggested there were repairs scheduled for summer 2023 were dependent on investment into the football club. I can confirm categorically that this is not the case, and that the finance for this operation has been ring-fenced by the board accordingly. This work will commence after the final home game of the season. We anticipate that we will be able to communicate a project timeline issued by the contractors in 2 weeks. Furthermore, season ticket holders from the last 4 seasons and match ticket purchasers from the current season will shortly be contacted by the club in order to request their views concerning safe standing. We look forward to receiving fans' feedback. Again, I wish to thank supporters for this letter and hope that this has gone to some way to answer some of your points. Moving forwards, I will endeavour to address supporters, and when new information is available, we'll share. Signed by Wang Zhao.
Okay, so just rebuild the old cop. That'll do me.
All I'm going to say is actions speak louder than words.
Words, yes.
So
Start
that is
again,
all
Claire.
you've
Sorry,
got to say.
Claire, sorry, I missed that, love.
Actions speak louder than words.
Boom!
We've had them tell us over and over and over again. They now need to put it into place.
And they've told us over and over and over again, Claire, that they need to communicate. And he's told us now in writing that they need to communicate. You know what, Birmingham City? Communicate. Communicate. You can come on here every single Monday night and give us a weekly update.
So let's also put into context here. They're saying about the communication, the lack of, and the fact that they are acknowledging that. So hopefully we will see a little bit more.
When
Another
did you
point
send
to
the
take out
letter,
of it. Sorry?
When did you send the letter?
We sent the letter and it was issued over on the 8th of February.
It's got to be 4
We're
weeks.
talking a month later. It's taken them a month to write the letter back.
Yeah.
He's got to go all the way to China.
Yeah, it's a long way.
That's
It's a long
2 or
way.
3 days.
Yeah.
And then they've taken nearly a month
Right,
to
Claire,
write.
here you go, mate. Right, Claire, I send you tomorrow an email, right, complaining about something you said and or done on the show. I won't, because you haven't. How quick would you respond to it? How quick would you respond to defend yourself and make sure that your point is put across and make sure that you were right?
I understand that legally they have to make sure that they're writing the right thing because they've got to say. So legally, I get that. However, a month later,
Again, I'm going to go to this one, Street. Right.
saying,
Thank you for the open letter. We will respond within a month. That's called communication, Birmingham City.
yeah.
It is, but what I will say is the open letter, and was something that I raised on this at the particular time, was we never stipulated a time frame to respond.
Okay.
So I cannot and will not say that the club have taken too long, because we never said reply to us in 2 weeks or reply to us in a month. So actually, they've replied. It's the first stage. I've also got to add here, right? It is as good for them to say it as it is now for us to do it in return, right? So they've stated in there that fans are going to be contacted around safe standing and their thoughts on safe standing. It is important that we reply and be completely honest and open around it, right? Because if it goes out to 20,000 people, right, and only 5,000 return, then those other people that are on there can go, oh, well, we didn't have this, we didn't do this, we didn't, you know, and they can complain as much as they like, but actually they haven't replied. So they've got a voice, we've got a voice, right? There's an ask there, which is reply to us, tell us. I absolutely implore everybody, please do it. If you
Birmingham
get the
City
email
have got
through,
to make it easy. Birmingham City have got to make it easy for people to reply. Right, now, where I live here, just literally on the opposite side of the road is a large bus stop, right? Behind that is a shopping centre, which is derelict. It looks like Beirut, okay? The council have had proposals to do this, that and the other, and they've sent a letter round, a poster, right, with a QR code on it. QR code. Thank you. QR code on it. Well, you just scan the code and then you can put your thoughts on.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's technologically savvy nowadays, apart from Chris Browne and Alan. Right. So perhaps do something like that to make it easy to get the feedback that you require.
That's what they're doing, Nick. There will be an email. That's what they have said to us. There will be an email circulated to fans.
Really, Craig, honestly, what a shame they just don't come on here and tell us. And we go, look,
I'm sure they would have done. However,
we will not give you the questions before we do the show, because in 12 years we have never done that to anybody. But there are no hidden agendas. All we want to talk about is that. There it is. There. Nothing outside those two boxes.
And we are trying. We are trying.
Oh, Craig, don't know because you're going to make me cry, Craig.
Nick,
No,
Nick,
we are.
With respect, they have got far more technological advanced means than we do. They can come on their own TV channel or get on YouTube or get on whatever and give us an update every 20 minutes if they wanted to. It's not a case of coming on here. It's just coming on anywhere.
I know, but what I'm saying is this is a forum that goes around the world. Yeah?
I'm Warrington.
And a great place to share, things. Look, we don't want to know the legal ins and outs. We don't want to know. We want to know what date might the stadium be open. Are we going to have Booker Pies next? These are Birmingham fans for crying out loud sake.
I beg to differ, Nick.
Go on, Claire.
Go on, Claire.
You both
but do you think, though, that the trust has gone so much that they can put whatever they want in it? It's lovely that they've, said about the fans for the forum thing or whatever.
I absolutely
but
love
do
the
you
Blues Trust.
think that the fact that trust is very much either gone or waning,
with the club,
with them? So they promised us all this before, like the stadium and things like that. Do you think that the trust has gone too far, that people are now, they're not quite sure when they do write something if it's actually true?
Yeah, one of the things that bothers me with
the
Blues Trust is when they put these asset of community value
regarding the ground, you mean? Yeah.
On the stadium, and now nobody knows who owns it.
No, that's totally different. We're not talking about the Blues Trust. We're talking about the club.
Yeah.
And the one thing I would say is you said there, Nick, fans don't want to hear it. Fans do want to hear it. And then if people joined,
you're dead right. We want to hear the good and the bad.
But if for example, somebody joined today and asked me a question, and legally I cannot say anything, and I answer with, "I'm ever so sorry, legal, I can't say anything." Then people are going to go,
hang on, book. Right, so you write back, but you communicate back to that person. As there is a legal process ongoing, I am unable to comment at this time, but as soon as I have a definitive answer, I will return comment to you.
I think if you had somebody from the club currently sitting where you are, Nick, they would say that over and over. Every question would be answered with, "No, at this present time, I can't answer it because of legal."
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about the club. I'm talking about the Blues Trust. And look, don't get me wrong, I love the Blues Trust. Can we please get the Blues Trust in?
This is our conversation. Is about the club, though. It's not about the Blues Trust.
No, but can we get the Blues Trust in so that we can talk to them about?
Yeah,
we can.
What comes?
They don't know any more than we do.
Yeah.
What comes from this?
Exactly.
What comes from this? So we've had a letter, we've had some communication, we're going to get an email.
So we're going to get the email
another month that we've got to wait, or is it that's it until the end of the season? Is it, with this committee thing? I don't know, what happens now.
I mean, what will be interesting for me now is how they do act and react to the idea of the fans' consultation and the fans' involvement in. Ultimately, it is a shadow board, right? It's part of that fan review. Now, that white paper has already been issued by the government. It's out there. It's under consultation. There are people that can comment on it. Anybody, in fact, can comment on it through their MPs. And that's the one thing I would say. Again, if people feel strongly enough, contact your local MPs, tell them, because they will all have seen a copy.
Yeah. And
they can all comment on that and feedback what their areas are thinking. What the club now need to do is not just stop at that communication that they have issued today. Now, that will have come because of the fact that legally they are obliged to reply. And that's what they've done. Now the action is, what do we do next? So they've mentioned the work is going to commence on a fans communication group. That's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take a while to form, because whilst we all want to sit in a boardroom or we all want to sit around a table with the people at the club and listen to what's happening, right? There has to be a cut-off. There has to be a line that can
I absolutely don't know, Craig. I want to sit in the stands.
I don't want to know what's going on with the finances.
I want to be a football fan. Right, right, Craig, your business, what is it? What do you do?
Oh, I work for a bank. And, before anybody asks, I don't know the ins and outs of the bank.
You work for the NHS. Claire, you're a teacher?
Yeah.
Alan, what was your profession back when the art was built?
I was a self-employed management consultant, and I knew what was going on.
Self-employed management consultant. Chris, you own your own business. I was branded a dunce when I was at school. Because I don't have a short-term memory, and each and every single one of you know that I don't have a short-term memory. I have got 14 professional qualifications to my name, including Prince 2 project management at practitioner level. Okay, give us a timeline, give us a time, give us a date, give us another time, give us another date. Let's put a plan in action so that whether it's Chris's business or the NHS, they all use Prince 2, they all use it, right? Even schools use it as a project management tool. Give us the information and do not step over that line once.
Now, we like to give everybody a say on this on our shoutbox. It's an open forum. This comment sort of like sums up a lot what a lot of people are thinking. From Damien Kennedy, he said, I've lost track of the number of times the board has acknowledged the communications haven't been good enough and must improve. And they never do improve over a sustained period. It's not surprising that supporters are sceptical about the most recent pronouncements that they have let us down so many times over the years. In the situation we currently find ourselves, safe standing is frankly a distraction. Safe sitting would be a good start. And that's his opinion.
You know what, Chris, if I've got a business, I'd employ that man within 10 seconds because he speaks common sense.
I'm gonna put a counter argument behind it though.
Yeah, cool. I want you to. Yeah. It's an open forum.
The counter argument behind it is the consultation around safe standing. I have heard so many fans say they want it. Right. Yeah. It's also the future of football. If you look at all the other clubs, they're all doing it at the moment, right? Let's put this out there: safe sitting. Yep, totally agree. Love everybody to be in the bottom tiers, but we spend millions of pounds sticking in seats, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves being bottom of the pile because all the other clubs have put safe standing in, and we've got to go and spend millions of pounds again, replacing those seats with safe standing areas.
But we don't need to replace them there.
You do still have a seat when it's safe standing.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, the right thing.
Right, question for the team. I'm really sorry to butt in. Claire, Chris, Mark, Craig, and Alan. When you go away, do you sit or do you stand?
Stand. I stand at home.
Miss Browne.
Yeah, stand. Yeah, away. Yeah.
Mark Adams.
Stand.
The fixer.
Stand.
And Alan.
Sit down.
I stand because I have to.
Yep.
And I don't like it.
Do you know what? From me, I stand. There's okay. I'm going to say 100% because he has to stand because he has to, even though he don't like it. And I get it. When you've got a week,
pay 30 quid for a seat, I don't want to stand up.
No, I know.
But if I want to see the game, I have to. And it's no good complaining to people because they turn around and want to thump you.
Back in the 70s, where did you stand or sit?
Back in the 70s?
In the 70s. Main stand, railway stand.
I stood on the cop.
Tilton.
I stood on the cop. I actually stood exactly where I used to have my seat.
So you stood on the cop? So you know what standing's all about?
Yeah, I was 30 then. I'm 70 now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, but there's still going to be areas
standing up in front of me.
There's still areas that you can sit. Like me and Craig stand every game at home as well. It's just
where I sit at home. We're it's like Dad's army there. Nobody gets up and screams and shouts because that's
right. You know why? Because we're all doomed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, we go back to this safe standing though, and it is the future of football. So therefore, it's right that the club go into active consultation with their fans around it. Because if there was a larger proportion of fans that all said no, then they won't do it.
Do not.
So
do not.
Asking the question is the right thing to do.
I've been accused of being up Birmingham City's backside. I am not up Birmingham City's backside. Do not use this as a distraction for everything else that's going on at that football club.
I don't think it is. I think this is the start.
No, I didn't say it was. I'm saying don't use it as a distraction because there's bigger fish to fry than safe standing.
I mean, there's going back to the safe standing. I mean, there's a lot of us who've had to move from the lower tiers of the Tilton. I mean, I've had a season ticket 25 years in a row in the same seat, and we've been shoved over to the Gilmary lower. Nothing wrong with that, but we're just a lot of us have had to move over, and we're just in absolute limbo. We don't know, are we going back to the bottom tiers or, you know, and my seat is literally shoved in a bit of grassland behind the Tilton. I've literally seen it.
Would you? You're a lot younger than me. If you were allowed to go back to where your seat was, but it was now standing, would you be happy?
I'd like to have the option of, like Claire said, I think safe standing. You have got a seat behind you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So
you can't sit in it because everybody else is standing up.
I'd go with
personally, guys. I would like to go back to that blue barrier where I stood with my 4-year-old son on my shoulders and my hair on back in the 80s, early 80s and 90s, right? Because it was safe standing.
Yep.
We never got hurt.
No. We'd like you to go back there now as well.
Ridiculous.
Right
ridiculous. This is ridiculous, honestly.
Just going back to the football side and going back to some of the questions I asked earlier on the on our page. Michael Hawcock says, "How long do we stick with JE? I'm not out, but just
sorry,
asking,
Chris. How long do we stick with
Eustace?
John Eustace.
Yeah.
Just asking you guys your thoughts. Do we think he can keep us up? As some of his game management is baffling. Do we actually think he's going to see out the season?"
Yes. Can I answer first?
Yeah, of course,
I think he will.
Yeah.
I think we'll be safe. I think we'll stay up. I'd like to see him with a bit of a budget, but you know, I think we will stay up.
Mark, honestly, it makes me laugh. I think we'll stay up. We've been saying this for donkey's years, man. Donkey's years. We should
still stand up.
As the biggest second city in the country, we should be ripping the Premier League to shreds. And we're thinking, do you think we'll be able to stay up in the Championship?
How can we rip the Premier League to shreds when we've got no money? We've got no money to spend. We've got a club rock bottom.
The problem is, Nick,
of the city, right? And the fact that we're the second biggest city in the country, we should be right up there, but we ain't. Through mismanagement, through poor ownership.
Ownership doesn't dictate who kicks a ball on a field.
No, it might not. But you know what? When a barber can buy a football club.
Yeah, but that's by the by. That's gone. He's not there anymore. And also, we'll say
part of what this problem is all about.
The Football League dictated who bought the club, not the people that, you know, anybody can own a football club.
Did a full fit and proper persons test on a guy who was buying a football club, and he turned up with a checkbook and they passed him.
The Premier League passed him.
No.
So, is that a yes or a no? I've lost now. So, do we think?
Go on, Clary.
I would say keep him. It's getting ridiculous now that we keep blaming the manager. I do think he needs some help. I do think you need somebody with him to guidance, because, you know, he's gone from National League to all of being number 2 to all of a sudden in a big job. Now, nobody else would have taken this. Nobody wants to be manager or coach of Birmingham City right now. You don't know when.
How sad is that?
You don't know this. You don't know that. You know the club's in turmoil. You know that. You know, if there's a player that you want, more likely not going to get in. So why change the manager?
More likely to go to Accrington Stanley than Birmingham City.
It doesn't work. I think we've got to stick with him. And I agree with you, Mark. I think if he had a bit of a budget, maybe he could work some wonders. He could, but he needs help. That's what he needs. He needs somebody strong next to him who's had a bit of experience. I don't know, but surely there's got to be
Well, I tell you
somebody
what,
out there as a number
take 2
two.
minutes and have a think. Take 2 minutes, seriously, Bab.
So-
have a think, and then think who you would like next to Eustace as a Birmingham City like co-manager or.
So somebody's just mentioned Liam Dash. What
That's
is?
a
I mean,
brilliant
you
shout.
would
brilliant
not
shout.
argue with him, would you? He'd kick your butt in 10 seconds' time. Let me tell you.
Do you know? I mean, you know, to echo Claire and Mark, right? Eustace for me shouldn't go anywhere, right?
No.
He was brought into the club, and prior to Christmas, everybody was touting him for the next Premier League job prior to Christmas, right? And what's actually happened is we had a team that were punching well and truly above the weight that they should have been at that point in time.
Yep, totally.
We are now realising and beginning to see how weak our team and our squad are.
Do you think it's because how thin the squad is, Craig? Or
I think it's down to the thinness of the squad. It's down to what we have available to spend.
Mhm.
And, you know, you mentioned there about having a budget. Well, actually, it should be interesting because when you look at the vast majority of these players on the large contracts, they come to an end at the end of this season. So, and one for the shoutbox here, I'd really like to hear people's thoughts on this. Harley Dean, if he took half a salary pay cut, would you offer him another 2-year deal at the club?
Yes.
At the same wage rate, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Half of the wage that he's on at the moment.
Oh God, yeah.
Would you take him for another
But
2
I
years?
don't know what wage he's on. So,
Well,
yeah,
it is
doesn't matter.
supposedly
35
quite
grand
high.
a week, you know.
One of the high earners, yeah.
It's,
£5 a week.
it's more than
£30
£10.50 an hour. Put it that way.
So, and then also, I look at what he has done with, ultimately, as we now know, no recruitment staff at the club, right? So he has got to have been working with Craig Gardner to bring in the people that have come to the club. So I've got to give him credit for that. And then also with those people now in place, those people actively looking, knowing that we're going to have a reduction, right? We haven't seen our end of year figures yet, but it's fair to say from the Birmingham Sports Holdings figures that we're going to make a big loss, huge loss.
No shock there.
In fact, I think it was put out there that it's millions, tens of millions loss that's going to happen in the club. So again, we can't spend some of this money. So I think we keep him, we give him his go, we give him the support that he needs, and perhaps with that support behind him, with that mechanism and people coming in, right? I've seen it on the shoutbox numerous occasions. Cannot agree more. We've brought in goalkeeping coaches. We've got defensive coaches. We desperately need a striking coach.
Kevin
Top
Phillips.
of my list in that window when it opens,
We
you get
definitely need a
somebody in
striker.
there.
I'll be a striking coach. There's the ball. Shove it in the back of the net.
No, do you remember when we had James Beattie?
James Beattie, he turned it around, yeah.
And he was got to admit, he was brilliant. And like,
Who's that,
obviously,
Claire?
James Beattie. When,
Yeah.
was it
He had some
Monk
good
or
players
whatever?
though with him.
And then there was issues or something with him. But he changed. Was it Trey Adams at the time?
Yeah.
Adams all of a sudden became a top quality striker.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'd love.
coaching all areas.
Yeah.
Going with what Claire said, I'd go with someone like Kevin Phillips. I'd love to see him back in some
Love Kevin
capacity.
Phillips.
I think Paul Lipkiss has just made the best shouts is get Robbo back.
Or Robbo.
I tell you what,
You know what?
Would you leave
Chris,
Guy would be brilliant.
that guy
Millwall?
is Birmingham City.
Would he leave Millwall? That's the thing. Would he leave
I
Millwall?
spoke to him this one night. Was this dude, this Mrs. Lovely lady, and like he was just blue. You know when you know that somebody's just blue, right?
Yeah.
He was that. Man.
I think he's pretty embedded now in Millwall, isn't he?
Can I just say something? I think we need. I'll use this cliche, a reality check. We started the season with a new manager who started after our pre-season training had started. And within a month, okay, we didn't start too clever, but we managed to put 4 or 5 signings maybe more.
Mm.
And once we got all them signed up and on the field, we improved. Probably that was his big mistake, because we suddenly got this expectation. Now, we started off as favourites for relegation. Everybody you saw on this screen was saying, we can't see Birmingham stopping up this year. Yet, we suddenly got excited because we were 3 points off the playoffs and everything else. But what was always the case, and to be fair to our manager, he kept repeating this: we've got a thin squad, and when we get through to suspensions and injuries, that was the time to judge us. And he was absolutely right. Now, if we'd have been sort of, shall we say, win one, lose one, draw one, instead of go 10 games undefeated, then 10 games without winning, then we probably wouldn't have been as critical as we are now, because we did so well and now we're doing so badly. If you take a step back and say this manager has done better than we expected at the start, then big tick in the box. But because we're getting very excited about, oh, got a great new manager and he's done this, this, and this, and then suddenly it goes tits up, we got to get rid of him now, and that's basically what we're discussing. You know, if you take a step back and look and say, where are we? We've got no strikers. We got a century of strikers. Their ages add up to 100, right? That's the situation we've been in. Now, we could say, well, we should have done, and we should have signed this, and we should have signed it. We couldn't get one. We couldn't get one for what we could afford. And, you know, we got Troy Deeney for pennies, relatively. Yep. And because he isn't, you know, the leading scorer in the championship, people start criticising him. The bloke has he ever let us down in terms of effort? And okay, he says things sometimes that people get upset about, but on that pitch, he does his best, and he's 30 plenty. Our defenders are all ancient. Okay, we got Sanderson and we got Trusty, two superb defenders. Where are they? They're in the treatment room, and we've gone back to Roberts and Deeney and
Long
George, and these guys are past their best, and that's what we're dealing with. And if you look, if you throw all, they're not excuses, they're reasons, and this guy understands that, and this is why, you know, he went for the draw in the end, because can't afford to lose this, and we can criticise that, but that was the decision he made. And you got to say, well, okay, look back 2 weeks, Huddersfield, we're walking that, bump, 2-1 before you know what's happening. So I fully support the guy. I mean, I can criticise certain things. We all can. But the overall job that he's done has been, I would say excellent, it's been good. It's been more than we expected.
It has been, Alan.
And we were favourites for relegation, remember?
But these next couple of weeks are vital.
Yeah.
And to add to that, though, Nick, the next couple of weeks, we're now without key players.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
so you go back to consistency of a team, and consistency that we saw at the start of the season was because we weren't getting injuries. We had players that were either on their way back or were just getting back into the team at that point in time. Now we don't have that luxury.
Look good, Craig.
What's going on with injuries? What is going on with injuries?
Injuries, and also we get into those magic 10 bookings situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Bakuna's out. I mean, he's our best player. He's out next week.
He's out for 2 games now. He got his 10th booking. Now, he got his 10th booking for fighting for a ball and going back for a ball, right? What we're asking them to do. So he's took one for the team, but that's resulted in him being out. We've had all these different injuries that have kicked off. Deeney is out for weeks. If we see him before the end of the season at the moment, I'm going to be very surprised. We've already lost Sanderson for the rest of the season. Djukovic on Saturday took a knock. If he starts at the weekend, I'm going to be very, very surprised because he really did look very leggy at the end, and he was running his backside off. At his age, you can't do that every week as well. So the other thing we've got to factor in here is we've got a paper-thin squad full of injuries and now suspensions. Yeah. So he can only put out what he's got available. So I really think we got to write the school report.
Sorry, Craig. We've got 4 or 5 groundsmen we could call on, surely.
Got what?
4 or 5 groundsmen we could call on, surely.
Well, I was just going
to there's got to be somebody in the under-23s that's shining. Like,
there's got to be someone.
Kakuna not being there. Okay, it's Hannibal. Has he reached it yet, or is he on his last one?
He's gone past it. How he's still playing at that.
But like Jordan James, for example, can always bag you a goal. Play him. He's going to be here next season, isn't he?
I'll give him a start. Starting on Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, I think he'll start.
Maybe freshen it up a little bit. Maybe change it. I don't know. Maybe just, there's got to be a striker in the under-23s.
There has to be.
There's got to be somebody that they think, why don't we put them on the bench? And if we need you, play. You can't tell me that there isn't.
Well, I'll be very depressed on Saturday. See the lineup and everyone up front. That will be depressing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, I'm really sorry to kind of curtail us a little bit. And we, you know what? Wow, we've had so much to talk about tonight, but we had nothing to talk about.
Some of it,
but so much. Hey ho, that's the way it goes. We're into the last 15 minutes, and Craig Courtney's lovely daughter, Liv, has given us a suggestion for what we do tonight. And because a child has suggested something, we have to do it. Of course we do. Is this the one that doesn't know how to pour beer?
No, come on. She can pour a pint when she needs to.
All we want to know is now anything to do with word association with football. Are you ready for this? Because this is classic, and I applaud this young lady thinking about this. And football. Anything to do with football and football.
I got one.
Go on.
Tottenham hotspot.
What? I've got one.
Whoa.
The whole time.
Go on, Claire. I'm waiting for this. Hang on.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
G-Sung Park the Bus.
Very good.
I was thinking about that the whole time. That's my contribution on now.
And I'll give you
wasn't worth the wait, to be honest.
As hers, which was Lucas Djukovic.
Clever. Brett Stanley says, what was it? It's anything to do with football and football. Yep.
I've got one. Ready? Are you ready? Right. Stand Lazaridis.
Stand Lazaridis. What do you got? Alan spot the ball. Lots of Alan balls.
What Partick whistle?
Partick whistle. Very.
That's quite clever. That is
very good. How about Refastel? Here come the Dealies. Dealies had enough of the board. Peter McGill.
Mine's really had a goal mouth scramble.
I don't get that one.
You could have just spat me coke all over me.
Stanley Matthews and Michael Ball. Apparently, he's a PSV player. Your otter chocolate from the stands.
Stuff dug out to me. James Browne, very good. I like that.
Very good.
What's he gone for?
Oh, quite like Norman Offside.
Yeah, Norman Offside. That's good as well.
James Browne went for Christoph Dugout. Good outery. Nicky Buttplug. Keepy Upson.
Eat it up. You know what? When you think about that is delicate.
It is good, yeah. I like the delay from the joke to your brain. Hang on, it's coming. Yeah.
Jurgen Kopp.
Peter Shirtlift off his peg. Volley Gunner Solskjaer.
Volley Gunner, yeah.
Yeah, Volley Gunner. Very Gunner. Jurgen Kopp.
What about Lobby Savage?
Lobby Savage. Like it.
Lobby.
Lobby.
Yeah, lob. As in lob.
Right.
Ole Gunnar VAR.
Just for Lindsay, I think we should have Lee Camp in the middle of our goal.
In the middle. Do you know what? I loved the Lee Camp effigy that was in the main stuff. That was just brilliant. Whoever came up with that one, wow, 10 out of 10, guys.
Is Lee Camp doing commentary now for WM?
He was there against Wigan.
I saw the picture with Lindsay and him, yeah.
Yeah, if he's there, Lindsay's there, basically.
Yeah, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brett Stanley. That's very clever indeed.
Very.
Raphael Varane.
Raphael.
Varane.
Warren.
Yeah, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it.
It's you have to sift through these to see which ones we're allowed to
Jason
say.
Hughes. Yes, he's definitely on one tonight with corner flag Bondable.
That's a good one.
Body
Here's one,
is a
here's
good
one.
one as well.
Hamilton. Caledonian Whistle.
Here we go. Body check and doy.
Another one for myself. Nobby Turnstiles.
Oh, I like this one. Dealey had a penalty. Dealey had a penalty. Glasgow Rangers. That's a good one as well.
It doesn't really matter because we're in so much strife and trouble every single week. Training grounds burnt down. And then we do this 15 minutes and it cheers me up no end. Thank you so much.
We're insured.
I love it.
And I'm really
Right,
glad
crack
that
on.
we thought about it on Tilton Talk Show.
Sorry again, Claire.
I'm glad that we thought about it on Tilton Talk Show.
What, and others have stolen it?
Oh, you mean the last 15? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard rumours of a final quarter word association game coming on a few websites.
A final quarter.
Get to see it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Paul Hopekiss, is that supposed to be free kicky Otto? Is that very good?
Free kick Yotta.
I quite like that. Yeah, it's got a good connotation there.
G-Sun Car Park.
That's a good one. Who was that?
That's from Mark Brooks.
I
still like Dealey had a free kick. I think that's brilliant. Turn John instead of Johnson. Yeah, I like that. Stern John. Yeah, that's a good one. Peter in the netty.
Peter in the netty.
Peter in the netty. Justin Flasheneau at the back of the Tilton half time.
What about Barry Pye instead of Barry Fry?
Barry Pye, yeah.
Barry Pucker Pie, I'll have that one.
Barry Pucker Pie. Oh.
The pie, it's got to go out. Barry Pucker.
I bet you wish you thought of that now, Nick. Ding dong dribbler. Volley gunner. We've done that one. Volley gunner Solskjaer.
Peter Tilton Shilton.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mr. Tilton, that'll do for me. That, at the moment, is winning.
Paul McCartney. Bernard's sun in my eyes.
Tilton many years ago. And I went to shake his hands. It was like shaking hands with a shovel.
I know, you told us.
His hands were like that big.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, where do I put mine, mate? Crikey, that was like
That'd be
weird.
disgusting. Doesn't quite work, does it? Arsene Wenger.
Arsene Wenger. He did that for sleep, baby.
Pete Taylor. Tory Andre Q.
Oh my God.
Oh dear. Nico Varsell.
What about
Nico
Shin
Varsell,
What about Shin Paddy Kenny? Shin Paddy.
Paddy Kenny. Some Paddy Kenny.
Paddy Kenny, yeah.
Some very good ones. I didn't think we'd get as many as I thought we've got. To be honest, because I thought it was quite hard, really. I mean, I couldn't think of one, but there you go. I'm not as clever as these people. Teddy Shirtingham, Jonathan Spectator.
Oh,
Very good. Well done, Dave Twine. David Seat. Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
Yeah, a bit more subliminal.
Oh, just
See, everybody's beginning to think now.
Yeah.
Claire, I can see the cogs are turning. She's thinking, I'm going to come up with one. I'm going to do it in a minute. I'm going to get one.
I did the first one, so I'm fine. I can't get the brain done now.
Mark, you've still got to come up with a funny one because we haven't heard it yet.
I said party whistle, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny.
No, that wasn't. And everybody's done that one, actually. Dugout Ellis.
Dugout Ellis, yeah, good one.
Urinals Rennie. I think we need to, before we run out of time, we need to run on to the Rotherham game and predictions. I think we certainly do.
I think we'll. I think
You know
we'll
what? Right, I've got one more. I'm really sorry to interrupt, guys. I've got one more, and I can't remember his first name. And it was Dickoff.
Paul.
Paul.
Paul Kickoff. There you go, Paul Kickoff.
There you go.
That really wasn't worth the wait, but there we go.
No, but
I think
Dave Twine's was with Viv Solomon on the ball.
It's a good one.
that's a good one.
Alan Ball, we can't forget him.
Yeah, we've done the Alan Ball one over and over. Come on, Mark. Prediction.
Sorry, yeah. I think we'll concede. I think we'll win 3-2.
3-2. Well, go on, Alan. Alan, you
1-0.
still awake?
Can't say scoring more than a goal.
Claire.
We're going to get a nil.
Claire.
I'm going to go with 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0, Claire. That's what I was thinking. So there you go.
2-0 Blues.
The Blues, yeah.
Oh, right,
I
okay.
believe that we'll have a go.
Craig.
I hope that they've watched this programme.
Go on, Craig.
Well, Joe, I fancy him to win 3-0.
Bloody hell.
I think at some point or other we've got to get a hat trick of goals, and it's going to be this weekend.
Yep,
It'll have
okay.
to be 2 corners and a free kick.
It's not going to be the six.
I've just thought of one. Trevor Booking.
Trevor Booking, yeah.
Still waiting for the funny one.
Yeah, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Thanks, Nigel.
Yeah. Claire dribbling, yeah, well done.
What about Lampard?
You're right, Nigel. She tried to cover it up with a camera, but it's not working.
Oh, apparently Claire is now vice chairman.
I'd be more than happy to be
She's vice chairman now, because
More than
apparently she's the second one that speaks the most
Vice chairman of
sense
what, though, Claire?
of here, Tilton Talk.
Oh, I'm here. I thought you meant
Of here.
the
Chairman and vice. Yeah.
We've got
Yeah,
Alan's chairman, and now Claire is vice chairman. She's been appointed, apparently.
Yeah.
You know what, guys and girls? Wow, we probably support the worst run football club in the country. We come together on a Monday night and do this, and we have a laugh. And that's what this is about. And when we did this, Chris, I promise you, the proudest year of my life doing this was through COVID.
Sorry to laugh, Nick, as you're being so serious, but Paul Hanson's, I don't know if I can read it out. God, that's
I'm just looking at these, yeah, no.
What did he say?
Oh, there's some bad ones. Can't say it.
No, Craig, I don't mind you interrupting.
No, you can't say it. You can't say it.
Can't say it on
Can't say
air,
that
Nick,
one.
but I'll
Can't
tell
say
you
that one.
afterwards, but
I'll have a look in a bit.
I
It's a
think
good-
it wins. I think it wins.
It's brilliant.
But I'm just going to put the last one in there before we go to the seriousness, and that's Paul hip kissed the shirt when I score a goal.
Yeah. What the badge?
when you think about what we go through as football fans and with our club,
Okay.
Craig Courtney, Chris Browne, you know I love you so much with all my heart. Mark, you're all right. And you've only just joined us, so I'll give judgment another 6 months.
But Nick, before we
Ladies,
go, Mark Meredith has come up with a corker, which is Danny Shitu on the Villa.
No!
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Absolutely. Right, we'll see you back here next Monday, 6:30 through till 8, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. You've been listening to your Tilton Talk Show.